Millions of Americans are anxiously waiting for their November SNAP deposits, and we finally have breaking confirmation from Washington. The Trump administration has officially stated that only partial funding will be issued for this month's food stamp benefits. Just yesterday, we warned that the next 48 hours would determine whether families would see food on their tables or face empty EBT cards. Tonight, that verdict is in. According to the latest statement from the USDA, emergency contingency funds will be used to keep the program running, but at roughly half the normal benefit levels. That means millions of low-income families, seniors, and children will only receive about 50% of their usual SNAP payments in November. This announcement comes as grocery costs soar, shelves tighten, and food inflation pushes households to the brink. For many, SNAP is the only reason there's food at home. And now, even that safety net has been cut in half. Before we get deeper into this, I want to hear from you. Drop your state name in the comments and tell us what's happening in your area. Are you seeing deposits? Are payments delayed? Should the government have stepped up to fully fund food stamps this month? Or do you think the administration made the right call during the shutdown? Your voice helps others across America understand what's really happening on the ground. Now here's what led to this shocking decision. Federal Judge Jack McConnell issued an emergency order demanding that the USDA use every dollar of its contingency reserves to pay at least part of the November SNAP benefits. Without this ruling, tens of millions of Americans would have received nothing this month. The judge gave the administration a strict deadline, November 3rd, to decide whether they would fully fund benefits or release a partial payout. Late last night, the Trump administration responded, confirming that only partial payments would go out. Instead of finding new funding sources, the USDA will use roughly $4.6 billion in leftover reserves, just enough to cover about half of the program's $9 billion monthly cost. Officials admitted that without new congressional action, the money will run out within weeks. The USDA explained that this limited pool was never designed to carry the entire SNAP program. Still, they claim cutting benefits now could prevent a total shutdown later. It's a devastating trade-off, millions of families struggling through a 50% cut in benefits just to keep the system alive. Some states, including Vermont and Virginia, have stepped up with their own emergency funds to help families temporarily. But most states simply can't afford it. That means reduced or delayed benefits for the majority of Americans relying on SNAP this month. Judge McConnell suggested the administration could tap into tariff revenue funds, an estimated $23 billion from trade duties to cover the shortfall. But the USDA refused, saying those funds are legally tied to other programs. This decision has triggered outrage across the country, with governors and advocacy groups accusing Washington of putting politics over people. The chaos began on November 1st, when millions opened their EBT apps and saw zero balances. For families living meal to meal, those missing deposits meant skipped groceries, hungry children, and empty shelves. Even though the court has now forced partial funding, the process of recalculating and reprogramming benefits could take weeks or even months, depending on each state's EBT system. Some may see deposits within days, others might wait until late November or December. A USDA official, Patrick Penn, confirmed that state systems are struggling to adjust quickly. Some platforms can't make mid-month payment changes without manual recalibration, which risks further delays and technical errors. For millions, the uncertainty is unbearable. Reports show that over $450 million of USDA's reserves have already been spent on administrative operations, another $300 million on unrelated grants, and $150 million on nutrition aid for U.S. territories. That leaves only $4.6 billion for direct SNAP benefits, and every dollar of that will now go to half payments for November, barely keeping the system alive. Advocacy groups like Democracy Forward and Feeding America are pushing back, arguing that the administration could and should use every possible resource to keep Americans from going hungry. Their attorneys are exploring legal action to force full funding, saying this crisis was preventable and morally wrong. President Donald Trump addressed the issue personally, saying he doesn't want any American to go hungry, but must operate within legal and fiscal limits. He framed the delay as a legal challenge, not a political choice, insisting his administration is working on long-term solutions while courts review the options. But critics say stronger executive action could have avoided this chaos entirely. The fallout is immediate and painful. Food inflation is up 25% since 2020, and now, with half benefits, families are forced to choose between rent, bills, or food. Food banks across the U.S. are preparing for record demand, while small-town grocery stores that rely on SNAP spending are bracing for losses. If Congress doesn't act soon, December benefits may disappear altogether. The contingency fund will be empty, and even partial payments could stop. Judge McConnell could issue another emergency order, but that would only buy time, not solve the crisis. For now, this is where things stand. Half benefits, massive delays, and no guarantee of what comes next. The only way out is through Congress, either a temporary spending bill or an emergency resolution to fully fund the SNAP program. Until then, please share your state updates below. Tell us if your payment arrived, was delayed, or cut. This community keeps people informed when official answers are nowhere to be found. Stay tuned, I'll keep monitoring this story hour by hour. America's families deserve answers, and we won't stop until they get them.